Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM News with me, Mapita CB. Now, in our first story, the Inspector General of Police has assured tomato traders and transporters of police and military escort to protect them against highway robbery. This is in response to a petition by the group following persistent attacks on the Kumasi-Bolgatanga Burkina Faso route, leading to the death of some members. The traders are, however, yet to call off their strike. Prince Apia has more in this report.
So after 4 days of a nationwide tomato strike by the National Tomato Traders and Transporters Association, the IGP, through the regional police commander, has met the leadership of the association on ways to address this particular impasse. The Ashanti Regional Deputy Police Commander, David Ajmanajem, addressed the striking tomato transporters and importers in Kumasi. He says security patrols will be intensified on the Kumasi-Bolgatanga Burkina Faso route to curb the violent highway attacks.
Their concern was security on the highways, and the IGP wants me to assure them that he's already had some armed men deployed on the highway, and that we should also give them escorts as they go about their duties.
The traders were, however, cautioned against keeping cash on them.
Basically, people attack them because they know that they are carrying huge sums of money. So they should find alternate ways of sending their monies to the marketplaces.
Chairman of the Tomato Traders and Transporters Association lauded the move by the police to protect them. Eric Osei, however, says the traders will call off the industrial action when their request is fully granted.
I'm very happy today because the rate at which they were robbing our members was very, very unprecedented. And as such, I wrote to the IGP, and the response today is very, very positive for us. We need to plan within 2-3 days with the police. They have to plan everything, then the escort will take off, then we'll call off the strike action.
Mr. Tufo said the association is finding ways to help its members from traveling with fiscal cash. Both parties have agreed to meet on a roadmap that would effectively address this particular problem that the tomato traders are facing on the route to Burkina Faso. One other issue that came up was how they handle fiscal cash, that as a result, armed robbers attacked them. The leadership have agreed to put in place some measures to ensure that their monies are put through some digital form to address this particular issue. Until then, the nationwide tomato strike continues. My name is Prince Apia reporting from Kumasi.
Now, the chiefs of Kenyase, Nchochoso, and the assembly members in the Asutufi North District of the Ahafo region say they may not be able to restrain the youth from demonstrating over stalled road projects in the mining town. They say the bad and dusty nature of the roads connecting to other districts and towns has led to the loss of lives and affected the livelihoods of people as businesses fold up. Addressing a news conference, the Chief of Kenyase, Nana Ose Kofi II, appealed to the government to complete the abandoned work to calm the youth and restore life to normalcy in the mining communities. Precious Semavo reports.
This is an abandoned palace of Queen Mother of Kenyase, Nanaya Educhumwa Moronsa, due to the dust and bad nature of the town roads that connect Kenyase to Hwidiem, district capitals in Esutifi North and South. This is my palace we were to move in after painting, but look at its sorry state. The dust is killing us for about a year now. The situation is the same everywhere in the mining district. Most businesses have closed down to avoid dust due to the abandoned 11.5-kilometer roads and tunnel bridge by Kofi Job Constructions. Driving on the road is so bad that you develop waist pains by the close of work. We are suffering from the inhaling of the dust with many illnesses. The ball joints and tanks of our cars always get damaged. There is always confusion between us and our car owners over the amount spent on maintenance, at a point where the drivers planned demonstrating against the road, but we were asked to wait. At a joint press conference of chiefs from Kenyase and Nchochoso and the assembly members, Nana Osei Kofi II, Kenyase #1 chief appealed to the government to complete the stalled work to calm the agitating youth and restore normal life in the mining community. The contractor, Kofi Job, was working day and night when the president was visiting last year, but he has packed his equipment and left the site. The Kenya-Hwidiem stretch is pathetic, as dust has damaged everything along the road. Business owners have closed their shops. Those who are sick are told it's due to the dust. The suffering is too much. The youth are angry and are planning to demonstrate. So we are here to let the government know the situation, because we may not be able to restrain the youth again. So we are pleading with government to fix the roads for us as soon as possible. The chief of Intotroso Berimatri Kwampim wondered how, with all the revenue from the mining giant Newmont Ghana, the roads are in such a deplorable state. The government promised us that the construction of the road was not a campaign tool, but now look at what has happened with the project abandoned after the election. That is why all the chiefs have come together to draw government's attention to the situation, so they ensure the contractor returns to complete the work and also work on the tunnel bridge for us. Assembly member for Doma electoral area, Ibrahim Isefu, alleges Kofi Job Constructions abandoned the project due to non-payment.
The contractor told us that the government have not paid him since he started. So there is no money for any job. So he left the site and came and picked his tools away. Business are collapsing, people are dying because of the dust and other things. So we are pleading on government to pay the contractor so that he can also come and start something for us.
If the mining revenue in the state coffers can't reach us, then government should let Newmont Ghana fix the roads for us. For JoyNews, Precious Semevo, Kenyase in the Ahafo region.
Away from that, Defense Minister designate Dominic Nitwol says he disagrees with the view that the military has failed in the fight against Galamsey. Mr. Nitwol, who took his term before the Appointments Committee of Parliament, said the military had been withdrawn because they had achieved the purpose for which they were deployed, arguing that the strategy was not to permanently keep them in the forest. He also disclosed that a probe has been launched into a JoyNews report highlighting how the military was protecting a mining firm that was degrading the environment in the Manso Forest Reserve. He assured that those involved would be punished if found culpable.
I don't agree when you say that the military has failed us in the fight against Galamsey. I think that you have the experience because you were Minister for Lands and Forestry before. You were Environment, and you know the extent to which Galamsey had almost consumed this country shortly before you left office. And the military stepped in to do what they needed to do. Last year, January, I felt that the military had achieved what they were asked to achieve. That's what I asked them to move out. Like it started before yesterday. Galamsey has been with us for a long time, but it is the nature of the current system where we go and use excavators to destroy our water bodies, to destroy the environment that is causing the problem. But for our local people who go and use cutlasses and hoes to just go and collect some small minerals, I don't think that should have been a problem for us. We don't want also to keep your military in the forest. Then you are not helping the military, you are not helping the people of Ghana. You want them to do a surgical operation and come out, And so if there is a need to do a surgical operation for the military in terms of what the president has said, because he said, let's have a conversation on Galamsey. So if there's a need to do a surgical operation, the military will do a surgical operation and come out. But I am not in favor of keeping the military in the forest for a very long time to fight Galamsey activities. I think that's not the best way to go. And I think that the nation will support me on that call. Investigation into this immediately, because like I said, on 31st January 2020, I issued a cabinet directive to the armed forces that no member of the armed forces is expected to be seen in any forest area except for 2 areas. And if anybody is doing that, it's doing in contravention of the government directive. And so I've asked that they should investigate this and bring me the report. The Chief of Army Staff has given his response. The GOC, General Commanding Officer, has given his response, and the investigation is ongoing. We'll put all the pieces together. And I can assure you, I've said it before, if anybody is found guilty, that person will be punished. And it doesn't matter who is minister, that's how it's supposed to be.
In our last story, local anti-gay rights group, National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values, is demanding the immediate shutdown of an LGBT Ghana office here in Accra. Last week, the gay community in Ghana organized a fundraiser which was attended by several diplomats. With indications of further activities lined up, the local anti-gay rights group wants the police to shut down their operations. Oba Tampa Asa Abwaja's reports read to you.
And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the IGP have every right to investigate the setting up of that office, to close it down immediately and arrest and prosecute those people involved in it.
That is Moses For Amwining, the Executive Secretary of the National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values. The coalition says it is incensed about the growing activities of the LGBT community in Ghana. He says a recent fundraising ceremony by the LGBT community prompted the coalition to call the attention of Ghana police. He argued gay rights are not part of the human rights laws in Ghana, adding LGBT activities are against Ghana's culture.
The argument that is often made is that it is part of our human rights law. The answer is no. I mean, the Constitution, the chapter that deals with human rights, fundamental human rights and freedoms, is pretty clear. It talks about discrimination against race, color, sex, and religious matters. It never talks about the standard phraseology which is normally used for LGBT rights, that is sexual orientation. We don't have it in our constitution. So clearly it is not part of our human rights laws. And it is also, more importantly, against our culture. If you look at the Directive Principles of State Policy, Article 34 and Article 39, 1 and 2, our cultural rights are guaranteed.
Gay rights remain a topical issue in Ghana. In 2018, President Akufo-Addo said Ghana was not ready for legislation of gay rights.
At the moment, I don't see that in Ghana there is that strong current of opinion that is saying this is something that we need to even deal with.
The National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values is calling on law to ban gay rights in Ghana.
And we will put the appropriate petitions before Parliament for the immediate passage of a comprehensive legislation so that we can define what L means, lesbianism, G, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex. These are very technical things. They're adding all sorts of things to it. Properly define them, and then we will prohibit their promotion, because the promotion is not too clear in terms of the illegality. So,
the founding president of Family Renaissance International and member of the coalition, Reverend Mrs. Catherine Onui Oduokete, pleaded for immediate government intervention to prevent any further pro-gay activities in the country.
The policies are made by them. But you see, every political class, every person in the political class, let me put it that way, everyone in the political class is either a father or a mother or an uncle or an aunt. So at the end of the day, if they don't rise up to the challenge, then they are endorsing the extinction of humans. We cannot embrace what at the end of the day is completely alien to our culture, to our tradition, to everything we stand for. And we who are doing this, we cannot append signature on what will bring about the necessary changes. So I am pleading with all the politicians, all the people in the political leadership, please rise up.
Obatampa Asa Abwaje's report for JoyNews.
And I am Peter Sibidi for the AM News. Hello.
We're just bumping our heads. Yeah, it's that kind of morning.
Charlie,
it's a Friday, Charlie.
Sometimes the vim will come for like 2 minutes. Charlie, but God day.
Why did they stop the music?
Realities of life, man. Yeah.
I wanted us, Charlie, how about, on radio you can do something, then Charlie, there's a bed underneath it. So, Charlie, we could try it.
We can lie down here.
Oh, no. I mean like a musical bed. You're talking in bed.
You want to do radio and
Charlie,
TV is a whole different game.
Charlie, it's
but thank God
another...
today's Friday. Finally, Friday's here.
Friday, Yaba.
That's all right.
Yaba. But Val's Day is just around the corner.
Yeah, Val's Day is on Sunday.
It was lost on me until... Okay, I'll keep that secret.
Until you found love, huh?
Mekano on air. Debbie.
Until you found love.
This is a very...
You have to do it.
It's a very...
What are you saying?
you have to be careful.
So what would you be doing?
Please, this is false propaganda.
What are you doing, Ben?
Oh, I'm going to be very quiet at home.
Cook.
Listen to some good music.
Cook for her, actually.
For whom? Oh, for my mom? Oh, yeah, I shall.
We're talking about Val's Day. You're talking about Mom.
Val's Day, okay, so on a more serious note, that's something I've realized, right? We make Val's Day appear to be, romantic and qua.
That is what it is.
No!
Mother's Day will come.
Have you traced Val's Day down to why we celebrate Valentine's Day?
Listen.
It's a day to show love.
Why are you getting historical
Go to church,
with me?
show love.
I mean, like,
in your house, the children, everybody show love. That's it.
Archaeology or something right now. We're talking about... the music we just played, like that's life. You know what I mean? Yeah, this convo is life.
But the other one is not life. Yo. Anyway, media major, Intino, I hope my chocolate entones you. Wherever you are, I'm collecting the chocolate today. And you can feel free to send Momo as well for the chocolate. In fact, I'll also send some to Robert Mensah, Robert Joseph Mensah. Metonunu, I should say. For some tea and biscuits.
Do people still comfortably kiss around this time?
Comfortably kiss?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Wear your mask. I'm wearing my mask. There's coronavirus. You don't know who's carrying it.
But this is your partner, right?
Yeah, this is your partner, but this is
legit partner.
This is somebody who is living somewhere else, isn't it?
Okay, me, I'm thinking of married people.
I was talking about you. Okay, let's go to the papers.
Oh, and I hear we have Joseph Akable before we delve into the papers. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Ben and Omavi.
Great. What are you doing for Val's Day?
What do you think I'll be doing?
What do I think you'll be doing? How would I know?
You tell us.
You'll be what?
I'm asking Mamavi. I'm sure she knows what I'll be doing.
No. We threw the question to you.
Oh, do you want me to share? You know I can.
Okay, no.
You know I can. Should I? You called me as a witness. Now
like she said,
you don't want me to get into the
I'll not let my witness speak.
You're not a witness on my side. You're a hostile witness.
Joseph, I'm going to subpoena Mama V so she gets to speak.
Please
She must speak.
Please do.
Anyway, thanks for joining the conversation. Which papers do you have though, Joseph?
A number of them here. So I think I have the BNFT as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I have Daily Statesman.
Right.
The Daily Statesman and the Finder.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the ones that I have. Daily Statesman and Finder.
Okay, so today let's start with you, yeah? Let's do your headlines and then we'll come to Mama V before I come in.
Okay, so I'll start with the front page of the Finder this morning. It says here, election petition. We will also subpoena the petitioner if that is coming from Kojopon Nkrumah. And the petitioner has a strong case and not relying on respondents is Mrs. Apia Opong. A data bank pulls out of a Japa gold royalties deal, also on the front page of the Finder. And we can't compel Mrs. Jane Mensah to speak, is coming from the Supreme Court there. And Kenofriata, Africa Matters. Rebecca Foundation donates electronic beds to cut other hospitals, also on the front page of the Finder. Quickly to the Daily Statesman, the front page says, Rebecca Foundation donates to Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, and you can't force Jane Mark to testify. Supreme Court rules against Mahama, orders for filing of written submissions, and military bases for all 16 regions, Defense Minister designates reveals. And the back page of the Daily Statesman has this story about, is Mohamed Salah Africa's greatest Premier League player? Is the question. And Kenofriata, Africa Matters. Rebecca Foundation donates to Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, and you can't force Jane Mark to testify. Supreme Court rules against Mahama, orders for filing of written submissions, and military bases for all 16 regions, Defense Minister designates reveals. The back page of the Daily Statesman has this story about, is Mohamed Salah Africa's greatest Premier League player? Is the question. is being asked. And I know Gladson Awako deserves Black Stars call-up, also on the back page of the Daily Statesman, Omavi and Ben.
Omavi, over to you.
Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The front page of the Ghanaian Times on ongoing election petition. We can't compel EC chair to testify. Supreme Court rules. Nalerigo prisons records 3. Nalerigo prison records 3 COVID-19 positive cases. Construction work begins on ultra-modern palace for Nungwa Traditional Council. It's also another story. Mahama files motion to reopen case. And then President promotes officers other ranks of Ghana Prison Service. That story is in the center spread of the paper and not page 10 as advertised on the front page. And then also there's an appointment of Apostle Professor Opoku Onyina's new chairman of Board of Trustees of National Cathedral Project. Details of that in the center spread of the paper. On the back page, the Ghana Statistical Service has earmarked 521 million Ghana cedis for the 2021 Housing and Population Census. That's according to Professor Samuel K. Enin, who is the government statistician. EU donates 1.9 million euro items to the Ghana Employment and Social Protection Agencies. Those two stories are on the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
Well, let's dig into the Daily Graphic now. Jean Mensah won't testify, Supreme Court rules. And basically, the thinking of the court applying the law is that they cannot force Jean Mensah to adduce evidence to basically be in the box. But you know that the NDC has come back firing on all cylinders, saying it wants a review, that it also wants to reopen the case and subpoena Jean Mensah to be in the box. We'll be bringing you details of that later on the show and, of course, in the Daily Graphic. Mahama moves to subpoena EC chair, military to establish bases in 16 regions, Minister Designate for Defense, Dominic Nitiwul there, and all set for Council of State action today. It's going down. Who becomes the representative of your region? Anyway, so when you go to page 5, African nations still encouraged to use AstraZeneca vaccine. And yesterday I was having a conversation with Dr. Bediako, and the only problem is if the South African variant becomes predominant in Ghana, that's when we'd be in a fix. But for now, the African Centers for Disease Control are giving it an A-OK. There's also this one on page 7 that excites me. It's actually a worrying situation, but it says, it's an editorial, and it says, Ghana may import water and lumber, warns Enemil Ashon. Get to that page and find out why exactly that is being said. The middle spread of the paper, Ghana needs $180 million to procure COVID-19 vaccines. Then there's Workplace Task Force to enforce COVID-19 protocols, according to the National Tripartite Committee. And so some of the responsibility, or quite a chunk of it, being shifted to the workplaces, especially those that are not living up to task. And on the back page, EU hands over vehicles, equipment to 10 institutions, and police thwart armed robbery attempt and shoot 2. Should time suffice, I'll dig into that story.
Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper on the front page. We're using IT to fight crime. Truck crashes 5 cars at Nsawam. The picture is there of the accident scene. This is quite unbelievable. You think that these are like accident vehicles that have been pulled to somewhere else, but not the scene of the, as it happened proper. You can appreciate that a
Those
bit
look
more.
rather mangled.
Yeah, like, mangled vehicles separately that we've pulled to like a dump site or something. Yeah. Mahama bounced again, can't compel EC boss to testify. I didn't order soldiers to parliament. That's the defense minister designates the Dominic Nitiwul saying to the vetting committee of parliament yesterday. Nungwa Traditional Council starts office complex is also another story. I'm trying to see if I can dig more on this accident, this picture. I'm trying to look for the story itself. When I do find it, I'll share it in the center spread though. News 1. I am not against you, Prince David, to funny face. Actor Prince David Osei has displayed some level of great maturity on Wednesday in handling attacks on his person by comedian and actor Funny Face. The dead actor was sympathizing with Funny Face about how some personnel of Ghana Police Service allegedly manhandled him during his arrest, but Funny Face told him he didn't need his sympathy. US-based Ghanaian doctor saves Tessica Brown from Gorilla Glue. It's also another story here.
Have you seen the video?
No, I haven't.
Right. So I don't know, but of course, being a woman, I'm sure, you know, sometimes you do your hair and you use this stuff that keeps it all together, hold it up. It's some kind of glue, apparently.
Okay.
And this time she didn't have that. She had run out and she decided to use Gorilla Glue.
Oh.
And you should have seen, I mean, her hair and her head have bonded. They are matted together. It's kind of like super glue on your head. She washes with shampoo, everything, nothing works. I mean, it was basically, they had to operate her, so to speak. So not cut through, but some chemicals, and it was very unpleasant for her.
Ooh, okay.
If you've not seen the video, you should check it out.
I'll look for it. I mean, so apparently, the doctor actually performed this procedure for free.
Yeah, and I think it's a Ghanaian.
$12,500. Yes, it's a Ghanaian Dr. Michael Obeng. I guess that's why we're highlighting it. I'll look for that video. I haven't seen it.
You should see it. The things we do just to look good.
Really?
She suffered. She's been trending on social media.
That's it for the Daily Guide. I'll look for the accident story.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch now. Kandapa on security experts. You can check out that. Yesterday, of course, Defense Minister Nitiwo designate declares accommodation is a big problem facing the military. That story is on the back page. Volta Youth Group supports Nyonyo's second bid for Council of State. We'll find out how it goes down today. 15 police stations disinfected in Savannah region in fight against COVID-19. And work begins on construction of Nungua Traditional Council offices. In the middle spread, housing conditions in Eastern region. Check out the details, even as we talk about the military and its own housing or accommodation problems. The killing of senior EMT Abraham Tete and matters arising in National Ambulance Service. Professor Zachariah has been shedding a lot of light on that. You can also check out this one. Okay, so let me stay away from that for now because... And on the back page, there is no tension in military ranks over appointment of Admiral Amwamu as Chief of Defense Staff. Nitiwo quizzed on that. And then I think that will be the last one I'll do from the Daily Dispatch.
All right. Republic Press says it's a BNS student live in fear as COVID patient hides status for a week on overcrowded campus. Yeah, Brony Beyanka. Akufo-Addo boy under fire. Ghanaians bash him for alleged property grab. And Chachu shot down again. Supreme Court rules Jean Mensah can't be forced to speak. I did not order military men into chamber. Dominic Nitu clears his name. Indoor celebration, a new form for 2021 Valentine. That's on COVID-19. Indoor celebration. We'll come back and talk about this. CDS tasked to probe January 7 military invasion of Parliament. Also another headline on the front page of Republic Press newspaper. I've got a last paper. Do you have some more?
I've got, my last paper as well, but I'm just going to sneak and do some sports from the Daily Graphic, something I missed. Your friend Neymar, he's injured again. And Fosu Mensah, our very own Manchester United's Fosu Mensah, he says, I quit Man United to save career. He's joined Bayer Leverkusen for £1.8 million. The custodian, we're encouraging females to join armed forces. That's according to Nitiwo. Judges days Chachu. We can't force Jean Mensah to testify. And police are enforcing COVID-19 protocols. ASP David Fianco Ochuri. That's with the custodian newspaper.
My last paper, the Ghanaian Publisher, on the front page. Western North Police facilities benefit from second disinfection. Construction of Nungua Traditional Council begins. You cannot have a Dukwe. Supreme Court shoots down Mahama's request to cross-examine EC boss. I didn't order soldiers to Parliament, Nitiwo and military bases to be established in all 16 regions. Eugene Ahin addresses viral divorce. And viral is in court, comes with a picture of him, the Director of Communications at the Presidency and Health Minister designate demands more funds for NHIS. Okay.
Akable, well, we know you're on the other end, and we'll try to find out from you, the latest when it comes to the court proceedings and the way forward from there. But any story you'd like to share?
And so first on the court proceedings, I guess where we are now is the case resumes on Monday because the request that Mr. Mahama is making to be allowed to reopen his case is slated for Monday. And so the request would have to be made to the Supreme Court, and the justice would have to be convinced that they should exercise their discretionary power to allow him open his case. And once that is granted, then they will file the subpoena asking that Jean Mensah should be compelled to appear before the court. And so that is where that leaves us. And it's quite interesting, the decision that the court rendered yesterday, in that the court made some comments that I foresee a situation where it could potentially impact some of the things that will happen subsequently. The comment that the petitioner's case succeeds on its own strength and not on the strength of the evidence from the respondents. And so if you'll be urging the courts to allow you to reopen your case, would the case not be to advance arguments in support of the view that this individual who is the respondent coming in, who represents the respondent coming in to testify, will help your case, which the Supreme Court has already said you don't actually need a respondent for it to succeed. And so that leaves us as quite an interesting point going into Monday.
So interesting there, because you hear of wishy-washy arguments and superior arguments and all of that. But Charlie, check like that, should that they go well like that. But what are the relevance dates to take stock of? So the 18th?
And so there's Monday first. I want to keep it at Monday because depending on what happens on Monday, it could potentially affect 17th and 18th.
Right.
But if nothing significant happens on Monday by way of the petitioner getting his way, then it will mean that by 17th, the petitioner, on or before 17th, the petitioner should have filed his written addresses. Then on the 18th, they will go and have the oral summary of it where they highlight on the relevant portions of the written addresses. Then the court will take a date to deliver its judgment on the election petition filed by John Mahama. So it all depends on what will happen on Monday.
All right, okay, so some 3 quick stories. First, the Daily Guide. I found the accident story, the truck crashing 5 cars at Nsewam. There were some children involved, but thankfully they all escaped unhurt. Some passengers on board the other vehicles also sustained injury and were treated and discharged according to the story. But this was a cement truck that was said to be descending a slope when its brakes failed and crashed into several vehicles which were ahead. And this happened in Nsewam.
These vehicles often don't do maintenance. I remember around the Kaukudi stretch, there was this time when, I was cautiously driving. If not, I would have just lumped into one of these trucks. It was from Tema, and it was carrying macaroni and stuff. And it was trying to climb, leading towards Accra Girls.
Okay.
And the cabin part had disengaged from the head.
Already.
And it had destroyed part of the road, and where you see the policemen opposite Gold House, where the policemen, it had just, so imagine if your car had been at that time.
Wow.
I did a story on it, and I spoke to the gentleman finding out what had happened. I was signaling, oncoming drivers to, because if you don't watch out, it was night, and unfortunately that place.
Traffic lights were out. Because usually when traffic lights not regulating vehicles, people are just careless. Everybody wants to move at the same time.
And these big vehicles themselves, they are not only bullies on the way, they don't do proper maintenance, and they're always breaking down. And some of them really shouldn't be operating at that time of day. I don't know when this was, but sometimes you see them at times of day and wonder why they are, lugging around at that time.
This was Thursday morning, just yesterday morning. To the Republic Press, 2 stories. One is the TBA nursing students who was experiencing COVID symptoms and went to the hospital. And so she took the test. They asked her to isolate, but she decided to go back to campus and do everything, attend lectures, do everything as though she was 100% fit. And then, she wasn't monitored. I mean, it's impossible for them to monitor if you're really isolating or not in some cases, only to realize after a week that her result came positive. And now the students don't know if they're also positive or not because she didn't.
Well, say they should find out.
Yeah. So now
that's what they should be doing.
Yeah. And then just down, Akufo-Addo boy under fire. The Director of Communications of the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, has come under attack by some social media users as he outraged at the properties he has allegedly acquired in just 4 years of his appointment. Mrs. Gloria Asana Ahin, wife of the Communications Director of the Presidency, is demanding 50% of all landed and movable properties owned by her husband in the matrimonial suit filed against him at the Accra High Court. They've got loads of details there. But Joseph, just help us, because Mr. Ahin says he has not been served, right? He doesn't have notice of this.
Yes, and it's because once it's filed at the registry, it's the registry that effects service. And I mean, per the leak that occurred, you realize that it was dated the same day that it was filed, and so it explains why he may have not received a copy yet, or as in officially filed. By which case, once it is done, he has to enter an appearance, and it follows through. I mean, it's a very sensitive issue, and you can understand why he would want to keep matters privately, but the concerns that people are raising has to do with their properties acquired over the period, and he's stated in his response that is untrue. But I mean, let's see how that one turns out.
The thing I don't like about most of us, we see things on the face and we just assume that everything is true, and we go to town with what we think it is true. And some of us talk as if you think people like you, see how they will deal with your matter too.
All the same, let me pose this question to you, Mama V, and to Joe. Do you ever get the feeling sometimes that you're in the wrong profession?
No.
Maybe politics might have been a much better option?
No. I can choose to do.
For me, it's no, but I want to find out. I mean, sometimes.
No, but why do you ask?
Oh, no. I'm just asking. It's just.
The question is very suspicious.
It's just by the way, but sometimes you look at stuff and you're like,
No,
but do you ever think that way? That
no, because you see, I used to be an entertainment journalist. I used to do entertainment. I did show business. And I didn't do every show business story. You get what I mean? I mean, so I don't typically like the gossip. I like to create the content. Yeah. So, no.
I was just waiting for it.
I think that hey, I'm talking about like a politician, but no, not politics. But I think that it also gives.
We've discussed this before.
We have
You're going into politics.
Yeah, no, but I'm not. Huh? We also have a certain.
No. Is that on record? You're not.
No, I'm not. Well, you want to make news out of me?
Never say never.
No, I'm not.
You're never going into politics.
I'm never. No.
I was
just going to say that on these matters, I think the opportunity that we have is to also add that once you see court documents spelling out things, as has been done in the case of Eugene Ahin, it doesn't mean that everything you see there is true. No. You have to hear the other side.
This is one person.
So that's the opportunity that we also get.
And that's why we have the term Audi alteram partem.
So that's why
listen to the other side.
That's why we have a unique job, and no, we don't regret it.
Akam, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Do we have? Oh, you've not even answered the question. Is it yes or no? Just briefly.
I pleaded the fifth.
You pleaded the fifth. Okay.
The
fifth doesn't apply in Ghana.
Aha.
Don't worry, I'm pleading it anyways.
You're quoting wrong laws in Ghana. Joseph Akam, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Do we have enough time for online? All right. Okay. Yeah, time or not. You put the thoughts. It's time for sports to also come and take their thoughts. Tuesday.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM Sports with me, Orik Wampofu. We have a lot in stock from you, ranging from the Ghana Premier League, and then we'll look at the latest from the FIFA Club World Cup. And then there was also FA Cup action, and we'll be finding out what the quarter-final draw also looks like. But let's start off with the Ghana Premier League, where captain of Great Olympics, Gladson Awako, is happy with the return of head coach Anna Walker. The veteran trainer is back to work after recovering from illness, and we do have more for you in the following report.
Walker took a sick leave in early January with the Apreko and Godwin Atram entrusted with the team's technical duties on temporary basis. But Walker has returned after recovering fully from illness. He took charge of the club's training on Tuesday in the presence of Preko and Atram. The two did a good job during their short spell at the club. They were involved in 5 games and secured 3 victories, including the famous 2-0 win against local rivals Hearts of Oak. Captain of the club, Gladson Awako, is happy with the return of Coach Walker.
I would say we thank God for how far he has brought us, because it hasn't been easy without our head coach, which is Coach Ano. So we say we are all grateful, we are very happy, we are very excited to see him once again, because we've been without him for more than a month.
Anna Walker is expected to lead Great Olympics to victory when they take on visiting Elmina Sharks in the Week 14 encounter at the Accra Sports Stadium on Saturday. Awako is confident the team will not disappoint.
We all know how difficult it is to play in the team, and we were not lucky enough. We lost that game 3-1, which they are a very good side as well. And we are playing our next game on Tuesday against Sharks, another good side as well. But we have to make sure we need to fight very hard to get the 3 points, which is very, very important for us.
After 13 games in the Ghana Premier League, the Daddy Boys are 17th on the table, sitting just above bottom-placed Inter Allies.
Well, there'll be more Ghana Premier League action this weekend, and actually on Sunday it was supposed to be the super clash between Hearts of Oak and then Asante Kotoko, but because of Kotoko's exploits in Africa, they will be playing in the Confederations Cup against a team from Algeria right here in Accra. So due to that, the super clash has been postponed, but then there will be 8 other matches, and here are some statistics to get yourself and whet your appetite ahead of the match day. Well, one of the games to look forward to in match day 14 is when Ken Faisal travel to Accra to face Legon Cities. Both sides have been lingering with relegation, but Ken Faisal do have an interesting task because their head coach, Andy Sinison, has now been told that he's not qualified to coach the team, and this is according to the GFA Club Licensing Board. Now, he was the coach who masterminded the side's dramatic 4-3 win over Berekum Chelsea, but the Ghana Football Association announced a list of approved coaches for the league and clubs this season in accordance with the GFA licensing regulations. And let's take a look at the approved coaches and those who are allowed to be coaching teams in the Ghana Premier League. Remember, you need a CAF license A if you are African, and then when you're European, you do need the UEFA A license as well. As you can see, Ken Faisal remains vacant because there is no qualified coach. We're bringing you more sports action in terms of the Australian updates throughout our sports bulletin during the day as well. But you can visit our website, MyJoy Online, Sports, for more sports news, and also follow us on social media at JoySportsGH for the latest in the world of sports. My name is Oreko Ampofo, and the AM show continues right after this.
The Supreme Court, in its ruling, framed the issue before it for determination as whether or not respondents can be compelled to give evidence. The court held that witness statements do not constitute evidence until the witness enters the box and takes the oath to indicate reliance on it. This is against the background that Mr. Chachukikata had argued that by filing a witness statement, the EC chairperson had elected to give testimony. Moreover, the Supreme Court, in its unanimous ruling, averred that the positions in affidavits in opposition to interrogatories cannot make respondents compellable. The EC, in its affidavit in opposition to an earlier demand by the petitioner to serve interrogatories, stated that those questions could be asked during cross-examination.
The law is therefore settled that a party will not be compelled to enter the witness box and testify in support of his or her case. It is a risk parties who decline to give evidence take, knowing perfectly well that the court will be left with no option but to proceed with the available evidence before it. Counsel for the petitioner has strongly submitted to us that we should not apply the Society of Law's case to the peculiar facts of this petition, because the first respondent, being a constitutional body with defined responsibilities, must be brought before this court to be cross-examined as a way of accounting to the people of this country for its stewardship. The Society of Law's case, like this petition, also deals with witnesses who have served witness statements and have decided not to give evidence to be cross-examined. We are mandated to state that our jurisdiction invoked in this election petition is a limited jurisdiction clearly circumscribed by law. We do not intend to extend our mandate beyond what the law requires of us in such petitions brought under Article 64, Clause 1, challenging the validity of the election of a president. Simply put, we are not convinced and will not yield to the invitation being extended to us by counsel for the petitioner to order the respondent to enter the witness box to be cross-examined. Accordingly, we hereby overrule the objection raised by counsel for the petitioner against the decision of the respondents declining to adduce evidence in this petition.
According to the court, the petitioner's case should stand or fail based on the strength of his case and not the weakness of case of the respondents, if at all. So the Supreme Court is expected to sit again on the 18th of February 2021. This will be after all the parties involved in this election petition have filed their final written addresses. And these final written addresses is sort of the conclusion of the case for all the parties to present their thoughts to the court before the court sets a date to render judgment. But of course, the petitioner's lawyers, Mr. Chachukikata and Tony Later, have served notice that they will be filing for a review of this case that the court just disposed of, and also that will be filing an application to subpoena the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to answer some questions. They have been at pain to explain that they are not trying to shift the burden of proof onto the Electoral Commission, but they are saying that as the constitutionally mandated body to organize the election, and the chairperson being the returning officer of the election, it is important that she takes the box to answer certain questions. And so when they file these new applications, the court will deal with them before 17th, when they are all supposed to file their written addresses before the court sets a date for judgment. Meanwhile, Marietta Brew Apiapon, a spokesperson for the petitioner, expressed surprise at the court's ruling, describing the arguments of the respondents as wishy-washy.
On Monday, you heard the superior compelling arguments by Mr. Chikata, and of course, you heard the wishy-washy, insipid arguments by the respondents. Nevertheless, the courts have ruled in favor of the respondents, saying that they do not agree with us, that even though this is the EC, a constitutional body, the same principles that are applicable to ordinary people should be applicable to the Electoral Commission, and therefore they were upholding their request not to mount the witness box.
But Kojo Ponkroma, a spokesman for the respondent, say if the petitioner is seeking accountability, then he must use other means other than the court.
The third point that the Supreme Court has made today, that it has heard all of these arguments about she holds a constitutional office, the EC is a constitutional creature, and therefore there must be accountability. You remember that even for us speaking to you last week, we said if you want accountability, let's all go to Parliament, whether it's Public Accounts Committee or a parliamentary inquiry or something. But when you come and you apply to the court under some specific rules, you don't fail to meet that standard and then resort to that general argument. The court has said something about it, and I think we need to take note of it.
Kweko Asante there, putting that report together after the hearing yesterday. But of course, before midday yesterday, we know that the petitioner's lawyers also filed a motion, not the review. We don't know about that yet. But what we do know is an application to reopen the case after they closed it on Monday. Let's get some professionals to help us. Samson Ladiayenini is a lawyer. He's host of Newsfile, and they will be digesting most of the issues tomorrow, God willing, on Newsfile. Samson, good morning. Thank you so much for your time. Also joining us is Mr. Martin Pibble. He's also a lawyer. Thank you very much, Mr. Pibble, for joining us again today.
You're welcome.
Great. So I want to start from this motion that has been filed. But first of all, I want to ask the two of you, what kind of arguments do you make to get a court to reopen a case that you've closed? Okay, let me start with you, Mr. Pibble.
Okay. Exactly. So generally, you are coming under the rubric of the interest of justice. It's a general rubric, and especially in this context, as there was prior indications, very strong indications, that Madame Jean Mensah was coming to testify. And so the petitioner did not have any basis to apply for a subpoena whilst he was conducting his case. You see, other times, it happens that at the time of the trial, a very critical witness was absent, maybe due to ill health, etc. But by the time the trial is coming to a close, that is to say, defendant is closed his case, this witness is recovered and is able to offer evidence and all those. So it's a very high standard. There are exceptional circumstances. It's not taken lightly.
Mm. Well, Samson, seeing as this is a discretion exercise by the courts, how would you usually convince them, especially on a case that has been closed?
In addition to what my senior Martin had just said, I can only add that the court will be interested in knowing the nature of the evidence that you intend to have brought in if your case is opened. So it will be a central part of the discussion or the argument, if you like, and for the consideration. So the court would like to know the nature of the evidence that you intend to, bring in or to be giving, and whether or not that is not something that has already been traversed. Is it a question that, and again, no new evidence is going to be introduced. So you will have, it's a hurdle. Once again, it's quite a hurdle.
How do you explain something when the court says you have to win the case on your own strength and not the weakness of a respondent, and in this case, this is a respondent that you want to subpoena, if granted, to come and give testimony. When the court has already said that, is there any other...
The court actually doesn't have to say that, because Martin or any other of my colleagues who may be joining you will say the same thing. That is the basis of putting your foot in the courtroom. If you put your foot in the courtroom, you are first sure of your case. And to be sure of your case is to say that you have what it takes to prove your case on your own without the support of anybody else. I agree that there may be some circumstance where, for example, in the course of the trial, you may even need to subpoena a witness who is critical to ensuring that the court is furnished with all the facts. There may be somebody who authored a particular document, or who has custody of a particular document, and who is the only one qualified to testify to it, and therefore you need to bring that person in. So those things do happen.
Mr. Pebble, just on the back of this, the case is being made that her testimony is critical, and this is the EC chair, her testimony is critical for the court in order to ensure compliance with the Constitution. But we know the court said yesterday that they had looked into the Constitution and they haven't come across anything that says the EC chairperson could be treated differently. How do you connect what the court has said and the constitutional argument being raised again in order for this case to be reopened?
I think I lost you a little bit. Please, can you repeat?
So I was just reading a portion contained in that application to get the court to reopen the case, where the petitioner says that Mrs. Jean Mensah's testimony is critical for the court in order to ensure compliance with the Constitution. But I'm also reminded of something the court said yesterday, which is to the effect that they looked into the Constitution and they didn't come across any line that said the EC chairperson could be treated separately, any differently from any other person, in the sense of compelling her to give witness. So I'm asking...
Okay. Yes, the two are different. This is a different kettle of fish. That is to say, the subpoena is a different kettle of fish. The reason being that, you see, with the ruling that's just gone by, we're talking about compelling a party to give evidence, okay, a witness. So in this case, Madame Jean Mensah was going to come as a witness for the EC. So once the EC, and remember, the EC is the party to the case. Madame Jean Mensah is not a party to the case. Let's get that very clear. That is the basis on which I'm going to explain the difference.
Okay.
EC is a part case. Madame Jean Mensah is not. So with the witness statement, she was coming to help the EC answer. The EC as an institution, which is a party, has decided that, please, madam, don't come. Okay? Yes. So, and by way of a lighter note, some people refer to Madame Jean Mensah as JM the female. I think that sounds very nice. It's humorous, isn't it? We have John Mama and then JM the female. Yes. So the EC is saying JM the female should not come anymore. They don't need her to step into the box. And that's why and she's agreed, so she cannot be compelled. But in this particular case, it is the petitioner who has assessed his case and thinks that he needs JM, the female, to come and testify to help build his case up. So he can apply. And as Samson has demonstrated, he would demonstrate to the court why the evidence of JM, the female, is very crucial, would help him to build his case. And if the court finds merit in that submission, the court would grant. If the court doesn't find merit, then we know where that will be headed. So the two are different, so that a subpoena serves a different purpose from the principle that a witness cannot be compelled to testify. But this is the two principles will meet somewhere down the line. So let's say when the witness comes, let's not assuming it's granted. I mean, so like hypothetically, we are not talking about this Supreme Court case. When the witness comes into the box, the witness can only help as much as he or she knows. So if some questions are asked and the witness has no answer, the witness would not be able to answer. But where the witness seeks to evade the questions or deliberately refuses to answer, then that's where the law of contempt of court will be coming in. Okay. But in law, the two are totally different.
Okay, so let's build something on the hypothetical scenario that Mr. Pebu painted. Would the witness statement of this witness be needed in this circumstance?
So, because we have, we are now using the new regime of CI 87, there is normally the requirement for a witness statement for a witness that is being brought in to testify in the court. It is, however, possible to have the witness in without a statement. Martin may help me with it, but I understand that is perfectly possible. Within the same regime, I have had to subpoena a witness before, but this was not a party to the case. The person had nothing to do, as it were, in the people who are litigating the matter. But the person was someone who had information that was very useful for my client's case, and we had to subpoena the person in the middle of the trial. The subpoena simply had to be issued. We had to seek leave. Once we got a grant, we got the registry to issue it, as in the court, and then it was served on the person, and the person was brought into the court to give that particular testimony. Now, let me make a disclosure so that you see how the relatedness and you understand the depth of it. You remember there was this matter in which one Sarah Kwabla was said to have had an affair with Asamoah Gyan and was seeking to blackmail him with a pregnancy or so. Now, the Sarah Kwabla that I represented happened to be a Sarah Kwabla who was completely unconnected to what had happened. And there was, in fact, another Sarah Kwabla who, in fact, was the one who had that encounter with Asamoah Gyan. But the Daily Guide, upon hearing the name Sarah Kwabla, simply went on social media and typed in the name Sarah Kwabla, and the picture that came up, it went ahead to use it. And when we asked them to remove it, they didn't listen. So eventually they got sued. When they were sued, they needed now to show that that Sarah Kwabla is a Sarah Kwabla who had an affair with Asamoah Gyan. So we put our Sarah Kwabla in the box, and she demonstrated clearly that she is the one whose picture has been used, but she's not the one who has had anything whatsoever to do with Asamoah Gyan. So we subpoenaed the Sarah Kwabla, who in fact had something to do with Asamoah. And she came to the court and ended the matter there. And that was the basis on which the court became very clear in its mind that our Sarah Kwabla was not the one, and then gave judgment against the Daily Guide for what they did. Yes, so
just on the back of that, Samson, so didn't you use the other Sarah Kwabla to strengthen the evidence of your case?
To some respect, you may say so, but I would say that by the time we were calling that Sarah Kwabla, we were very sure that we were done. And we didn't, if you like, somewhat, we didn't need her. We had shown how they procured the picture of our Sarah Kwabla. We shown how they procured her picture and then used her memory chip to show how that picture was taken and when it was taken. We showed her Facebook page from which the Daily Guide went and took her picture. And in fact, we brought in Sarah as Asamoah Gyan's lawyer, my very good friend, Kise Jabin, had been asked by the Daily Guide. The Daily Guide had used him as their witness. So clearly, by the time we were done, it was obvious that she was not the one. But to not leave anything, in any doubts, we brought in our Sarah Kwabla to complete it. So to some extent, I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you are right in the manner you suggested it. But by the time we put our case in court and put our evidence in court, we knew that without her, we were still on firm grounds. But with her, we left no stone unturned.
Mr. Pebu, anything to add to the witness statement issue?
Oh, not really. No, not really. I think with this, you remember, the main thing is that we are totally constrained. We are not able to go into the affidavit. We can't, because the matter is before the court. So in terms of the general discussion, this is sufficient.
Okay. So my other question,
we cannot really delve into the
right. So is that the reopening of the case is clearly connected to the subpoena? How is it done? I think I started that conversation with Samson yesterday. We didn't quite finish. Mr. Pebu, let me start with you. Is that granted by the court? Under what kind of circumstances?
So it depends. Let's say if it's an ordinary, I don't have to use the word ordinary. Let's say at the beginning of a case, okay, where the party who wants to bring the witness in says he needs a subpoena to bring the person in, usually not much is made. He doesn't have to go in and demonstrate the necessity and all that. Usually it's granted because, remember, this is at the time the trial is beginning. So he indicates to the court that he will bring in some people by subpoena. Nobody goes into the basis, oh, how will this help you and all that. No, because that's at the beginning. So that party has the latitude. He said, first, in which the trial has come to an end. So let's say in the witnesses, the petitioner has told the court, hypothetically, that I have closed my case. And Mama V, that statement, let's get it very clear and bring it down. When you tell the court, I have closed my case, the meaning is that you don't intend to bring any other witness to testify. Closed. When a door is closed, ordinarily it means nobody can enter, right? Because it's been closed, locked. And then the other side goes ahead to also call his witnesses, or he doesn't call, then he also says, I have closed. So legally, as soon as you announce to the court that I have closed, it has consequences, being that you can no longer bring any person. But I'm sure you are also very much aware that to every rule, there is an exception. So if for some reasons, which we've already shown, that a critical witness who was pre-trial, you now need to bring the person, because the doors have all been closed. That is why this time around, you need to demonstrate to the court how the evidence of this new witness is critical. You remember how Samson said it, that in demonstrating to the court, so you show what new thing that witness is coming to say. And even if it's new, what aspect of the case is it going to solve? Is it solving any important matter? You see, we set down issues. That is to say, the questions the court will answer. So will it help to answer any of the questions put down? Or is it coming, are you bringing it to show that a witness who has testified has totally perjured himself, he has lied through his teeth, etc.? So the reason this time around, the person has to demonstrate to the court the necessity of this new evidence is that the doors have been closed. Litigation has come to an end. We don't have time ad infinitum. Time is limited. You see, the rules say that we should conduct the trial speedily and all that. So that is the reason this time around you would have to demonstrate. As against if it was at the beginning of a case, nobody really raises issues with why you want to subpoena anybody.
Okay. Samson, just some lessons that we're learning as we follow this hearing. During the trial, if a party already has a person as its witness, can you still subpoena that person to come and testify?
A party has a witness, then that witness is already in the court, so you don't have to subpoena.
But that witness, you don't know if would be finally in the witness box or not.
No, it is only when you have gotten to the point, like we have in this matter, where the party is electing not to get into the witness box and to tender their witness statement, and to begin to be cross-examined on it. So until it has happened, you cannot make that determination ahead of time. It's not even allowed. You cannot say, I want to subpoena a witness who is already tendered a witness statement and is supposed to be part of the trial.
Okay. When you subpoena
Can I come in a bit?
Okay, yes, Mr. Pebu.
Yeah, Sam,
yes.
I'm thinking that based on what we are experiencing now, this time it will be safer to indicate in your processes that you want to subpoena that same person. Let it be on the paper. Let the court say, no, it's not necessary because it's coming. So that when the tables turn, there will be evidence that you had stated that you were going to subpoena, and it was the court that stopped you. I'm just thinking practically.
Preemptively. You mean like preemptively, so that when it gets there and the person doesn't testify, then you have already indicated that you intend to subpoena them.
So that when you want to reopen your case, like in this case, everybody will see that it's not your fault. Yes.
Well, this particular, as you know, this particular rule that many lawyers have not used, or have not used as frequently as we know, rarely used. By the use of it now in the Supreme Court, as you can begin to see, is going to open the, if you like, the Pandora's box. And now we are going to get into this situation. Yeah, but interesting. We will get there.
So, gentlemen, the petitioner has made it clear that once leave is granted to reopen, subpoena documentation will be served on Jean Mensah. question is, she can still get into the witness box and not speak, right? Samson?
Get into the witness box and not speak. No. If you get into the witness box, you must answer the questions that will be posed to you.
By all means?
Yes. You can't get into the witness box and say you won't speak. When you are in the witness box, you must answer the questions. In fact, in this circumstance, if she eventually is subpoenaed, she will be brought in as an adverse witness, a hostile witness. In which case, she'll be dealt with in a manner without compassion, and so forth, if you like. But once you get into the witness box, you cannot elect not to speak. Your right not to self-incriminate is not in the witness box. By remaining silent, it's not in the witness box.
I think also
you actually be getting into contempt of court, and by the Court Act, if you are not careful, you will suffer contempt.
Okay. In the motion on notice, Mr. Pebble, there's a paragraph number 38 where the petitioner says, I am further advised by counsel and verily believe that after a subpoena is served by my lawyers on the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, if she wishes to invoke, for instance, a witness immunity such as protection against self-incrimination or any concern about violation of her human rights, she would be entitled to put that forward for the determination of the court. Can you please explain this paragraph?
Great. So, yes, what it means is normal for some witnesses, if they have fears, okay, that whatever they say will amount to self-incrimination, yes, you are allowed to raise it. So there is this difference, like Sam was saying, when the witness comes into the box, he must answer the questions. But please, let's come to what does answering mean? For some of the questions, if the witness doesn't know the answer, the witness will say, I don't know. I don't know. So
Okay, we seem to have lost Mr. Pebble there. Really interesting what he was onto, the I don't know bit. But something is still with me. Something, would you want to continue from where he left?
Yes, you see, it's a different thing because sometimes there's really no point saying, I don't want to get in there. Because when you get in there, nobody's going to force your answer. You determine what answer you give. I think that's the point Martin was trying to draw our attention to. That you may struggle, haggle, and say, I want you by all means in the witness box. Yes, you get me there, but you can't determine my answers. Except that as a public officer, like in this situation, and the way this whole trial is being broadcast to the whole world, your approach to the answers could also undermine your integrity. Because if there are things that the whole world expects that you should know and you say you don't know, I don't know how you will get out of the witness box or get out of the courtroom and be able to hold your head up high.
Just before we wrap up, yesterday a spokesperson for the second respondent gave hints that if this subpoena happens, then they would also be tempted to subpoena the petitioner. And I want to ask the two of you, if I still have Mr. Pebble back with us, what's the possibility of this happening?
Well, if Martin is not back, well, there's no need trying to fight it even before we got there. But you see, it's not as if it's automatic and it is there for you at your whim, that any time because somebody has been subpoenaed, you subpoena somebody. It's not there like that. Well, in any case, we know by now that once you have closed your case, you two will need leave of the court to be able to open your case. And that is the first hurdle that you must cross. And if you don't cross that, then of course, you know that you will not have the opportunity of subpoenaing somebody to get in. But if you hear, a lot of it is the political talk, political commentary, as if the courtroom is a place where we can use for political point scoring and use the courtroom as a place to threaten or to scare people. So if you listen, basically all they are saying is trying to do that by way of threat. That, well, if you like, try it. Once you cross-examine the EC chairperson, then your client who doesn't want to get into the witness box and who, for some political reasons, may not be advised to get into the witness box, will force him to get into the witness box. It doesn't lie in your mouth to say so. And to think that in the political commentary, you can clearly tell what is happening. That we get you in the witness box, we will try to mess you up. We'll ask you questions that will seek to embarrass you and take something away from you. The courtroom is not a place where we elect to say we can do anything like that. So until we get there, let's see how it goes.
Okay. Mr. Febu, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, great.
I totally agree with Sam. I totally agree with him. That's it. So on the facts of this case, you see that as the case was being fought from day one, the respondents didn't say that they need JM, the male, to come and answer any questions. It's never been part of the case. So it makes it extremely difficult to see how, just at the tail end, suddenly JM, the male, is needed to solve any critical issue. But theoretically, they have the right to apply. But practically, it's a different kettle of fish.
Okay, just finally with you. This motion on notice to reopen, is it open for objections from the respondents?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. That should be expected. So the respondents would put in a fight that they don't think it is necessary. Yes, because of the very high stakes in this case. So sometimes you find that even as a lawyer, you would see that you don't need to oppose something. But because the stakes are very high, sometimes you will be advised to oppose it so that if something goes wrong, it will not be said that even as a lawyer, you didn't fight it. So I think because of that, most likely the respondents would seek to oppose it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Martin Febu, I am grateful that... Samson, you want to add something?
Yeah.
Okay.
It must be said that at this particular moment, the petitioners will appear to have a better basis, a better grounds to want to ask the opportunity to open their case than the respondents will do. Respondents who have already cross-examined the witnesses of the petitioner may not have a similar, room, as you like, if you want to look at it in the future, compared to the petitioner and the circumstances as we have seen in the petitioner's application, which may be reasonable, but they will need to justify, and I think the major basis for which they will need to justify will be about the nature of the evidence that they seek to, as it were, confront the EC chairperson with. Apart from that, the other grounds, you can see that there is a basis that in your eyes will look reasonable. Whether that will be reasonable in the eyes of the court is another challenge.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I thank you for your time. Something, do you already have your legal lights for tomorrow?
I'm thinking about two issues, but I think I do, particularly on the question of persons who are still who are said to be spreading COVID-19, having tested positive and still going to work and being out and about and infecting other people, and the need for a certain special dispensation by way of an EI by the president to ensure that that is also looked at more importantly than enforcing the provisions of the Imposition of Restrictions Act against non-wearing of masks.
That will be crucial. There was a story in the papers this morning about a student nurse who had symptoms and was advised to isolate, but she went back on campus and did everything with everybody. And now the whole student body, people are fearing that they may have contracted COVID-19 because a test came back after a week positive. We will be watching and listening to Newsfile tomorrow, Samson. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Samson Ladiayenini, they're joining me, and Martin Pibble, both lawyers helping us to understand this legal battle with the 2020 presidential election results in court. The court will sit on Monday on this particular matter. We've got a Relationship Friday conversation coming up. It is Val's Day on Sunday. Are you crazy about it? Are you planning? Amidst COVID-19, how can we celebrate Val's Day? That conversation is coming up next. Stay with us.
We're warming up. Some people are jogging, some are trotting ahead of Valentine's Day 2021. Exceptional year for Valentines because we're celebrating Valentines with COVID in our midst. So, innovative ways. How exactly are you going to be celebrating it? We'll activate the phone lines. You'll see the number rolling on your screen shortly, and you can actually call into the program and share with us what your thoughts will be. But we want to find out, one, what is your best Valentine's Day gift? What has been given you that just swept you off your feet? And what is your worst as well? What is the one that was given you and you felt, oh my word, you know? I have some interesting ones that I'll be sharing with you. Not from my end, though, but there's someone who's going to be on the show on the last leg who will share her story. But we also want to find out from you what your best song is. Yeah. What song do you think really reflects how you feel this Valentine's? What song is going to reflect your mood? Do share with us by calling that number 0302-211-691 extension 2. We'll intersperse our conversation with that. In the meantime, we're joined by clinical psychologist Seth Mausi Asafo. Seth Mausi Asafo, who joins the conversation this morning. Seth, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the AM show.
Good morning to you too. I hope you're well.
I'm very well, and I love the baritone. I knew that would get you smiling. Anyway, so here we are. It's a new year, but same results, if you like. Valentine's Day is just around the corner. It's on Sunday. It's got a lot of people talking, but we'll get into the dynamics of how different this is going to be. But the craze about Valentine's Day, I mean, for as long as I can remember, from the days of people donning red and hitting the streets to it being named Chocolate Day, to what we now have where we're celebrating it in COVID. What do you think has accounted for the craze, especially in this 21st century, when it comes to Valentine's Day?
I mean, if you ask me, I'd say that if we talk about the craze, basically it's been something that's been done by the new age of technology and what social media offers for people to look forward to. Just yesterday, I was going through my WhatsApp status and I just couldn't help but see different packages for Valentine, which didn't seem to be like that in the past. My earliest memories of Valentine was in senior high school, and in that time, if you didn't get a card or something on Valentine's Day, basically you gnashed and you were teased. It was just part of a boy's life, and we were in a boys' school, so that definitely is something that is interesting. However, the recent craze of Valentine, like I mentioned, is being caused by technology and how people are able to access other people very quickly in real time. And what this has done is for some people has created some form of unrealistic expectation, whilst others is giving them an opportunity or something to look forward to. So it does have its advantages and disadvantages.
Okay, so let me ask you an interesting one, especially as you brought in, back in school. And it was interesting, right? If others were getting letters and you weren't getting any, I mean, the mental anguish alone, it appeared you were left out. From the standpoint of a clinical, psychologist, for people who are left out on a day like this, people who don't have partners, stuff like that, what do you think they can do to actually also feel a part of what is happening? Seth, did you catch that question?
Yes. Okay. Can you take it again? The connection broke at a point.
Right. Glad to do so. So I'm asking, those who don't have partners, those who may be left out, so to speak, on the romantic level when it comes to Valentine's Day, what do you think they can do to feel a part of, this special day?
Well, I mean, if you look at the premise of what Valentine is, which is a day of love, it shouldn't really take somebody else to make you feel loved. Self-love is the basis of all love. And there are all these popular sayings about if you love yourself, people will love you too. Because loving yourself means respecting yourself and not settling for just anything. Right. It's been interesting. There are a number of Facebook researches that have been done that has shown significantly that right before Valentine's Day, the number of relationships that have started have always gone very high. And right after Valentine's Day, the statuses that read like broke up or no longer in a relationship are also extra high. So I say that, look, to feel love, it doesn't have to be one person. Family, friends, and people who really care about you out there, who can offer you the same amount of love and care, and not particularly romantic love as most people have made Valentine look like.
Right. Let me just mention as well that apart from calling the number 0302-211-691 extension 2, you can join us via Zoom. Via Zoom, yes, you can connect with us. Let us see you. The meeting ID is 9423-369-8727. I'll repeat that for you, and it's on your screen as well. 9423-369-8727, in case you're just listening and not watching the screen of your TV. And the password is there as well, 095504. Do connect with us. Let us know what your best and worst have been when it comes to Valentine's Day gifts. Some people will share stuff, and you would be amazed. Anyway, so that we want to hear from. And the bit about the song that you feel this Valentine's Day 2021 actually reflects your mood. You can share that with us as well. But coming back to you, Seth, one thing that gives people a lot of mental anguish when it comes to Valentine's Day is basically, what do I get for the other person? And there are those who have got handkerchiefs, boxer shorts. On the other side, there are those who get, PS5s and all of that, high-tech gadgets. Some get cars and the rest. But getting the right fit for your partner can be tricky. Tell us a bit about how people can actually meander through this successfully.
I totally agree with you that getting someone the gift they would like, can be extremely tricky. And by far, it's one of the most significant things about Valentine, getting your partner the right gift or present. In fact, we are finding that in a number of times after Valentine's, there are significant levels of disappointment across different couples or partners because they didn't get what they had wished for. And the other part about Valentine is that you need to be able to predict somehow what your partner is looking for. In fact, if your partner told you I wanted this and you got it for them, then the whole concept of you being able to love them so much to know what they want is not there. Now, this is the most important thing. These things put a lot of pressure, and the expectations that you can box up all your love in one day is unrealistic. And that's why it leads to lots of disappointment for lots of partners. And like I mentioned, we have had several instances where after Valentine, people have started to feel that because their partner was not able to give them the present they had wanted.
Well, a bit of a challenge there when it comes to the connection. We'll try to reconnect with Mr. Asafo, who's actually a clinical psychologist. But we have joining us from Takrade, Arime Yao. Hello, Arime Yao, good morning.
Good morning.
Your other name isn't Anas, is it?
No, it's Al-Hassan.
That was just a joke, though. Anyway, so Arime Yao, thank you for connecting with us. How are you celebrating Valentine? I mean, what are you looking forward to? You can tell us about the song that reflects it and what your best and worst gifts have been.
Yeah, very well. Though we are not in normal times, we will still celebrate the Valentine.
Right.
You see, I was asked earlier, my favorite gift. And you know, it wasn't a gift, but the memories on that particular day is what I don't think, like I can't forget. Never.
Do share with us.
Yes, I will. In fact, I was caught on the birthday, that's 2 years ago. I was caught cheating. And that gift was a push. My wife caught myself and my girlfriend, and we arranged living. I don't know who went to tip her. And then she knew where she was going. She crossed us there. I mean, I just can't forget. That day was a bad day. Bad day. It was a bad day. I can't forget that. So I was caught.
Wow.
I was pushed to the wall. That was a gift. So I don't know whether to go home or to go elsewhere. But finally, home is home. I had to go and apologize, and I was received. That's my memory.
So you got caught pants down on Val's Day some 2 days ago, and that's an experience. Anyway, so you made amends. Have you stayed faithful since then?
Oh, yeah. And this year is going to my favorite.
Wow. Arime Yao, no more. Congrats to you. Thanks for calling through. We're also connecting via Zoom. We have a few people joining us. Mr. Asafo, I can see that you are back. Just hold on for us. Is it George? George, if you can unmute, we'd love to hear from you. George, if you can hear me, please unmute. George, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, George. So we've posed the questions. I'm sure you know them. Your best and worst Valentine's Day gifts. And you could wrap up with the song that maybe you feel reflects your mood ahead of this Valentine's Day. So, George, do share with us. Oh, wow. George may have left. We'll try to reconnect with George. But Mr. Asafo, coming back to you right before we go back on Zoom with the others. Right, so let's do this one from, is it Elembele Manten? Hello? Oh. Do call in again, yeah? Do call in again. I think the name is Manten, right, from Elembele. Do call in again. You can call that number, 0302-211-691 extension 2. We'd love to hear from you. No one would be left out of the conversation. But coming back to you, Mr. Asafo, so you were making a point right before you went off. Would you like to wrap up?
Yes, I was saying that. Right. At the end of the day, it's the expectations that bring about the disappointment. And like we normally tell lots of people that there's subjectivity when it comes to what somebody likes. In fact, what I like and what you think I might like are actually very different.
Right.
And it makes it very difficult to have what we call the perfect Valentine gift. And I tell people, what you're doing is boxing up one day of love in 364 days and say that's the culmination of love. Every single day you can express love by just doing what you need to do to show that you care. It's not about the ideal gift. It's not about what the person would like. Sometimes you may know, sometimes you may not know. And it's important for both partners to sort of tone down their expectations when it comes to what the ideal Valentine gift should be. Because if your expectations are too high, then you have a disappointment. And I tell you something, we've had counts of people who have gone into depressive and lonely episodes after Valentine because they started to feel these repressed feelings from years ago about being unlovable because they didn't get the ideal Valentine present, which is something that's really significant.
I'll come back and talk to you about love language and how it affects, knowing your partner's love language and how it affects even the choice of gift you might give. But let's go over the phone lines now. Gaspar from Bolga joins us. Gaspar, welcome aboard the AM show. For you, what is your best and what has been your worst Valentine's Day gift?
Okay. Well, some 21 years ago, when I was a student and I got a pack of rice from a rich man to call. So at that time, Valentine, even just water, the one we used to blow, was what maybe I could buy. But I didn't have any money to spend Valentine, and I was in school, and somebody gave me a pack of rice. So I've never forgotten of that one. I think I left school. I think I have been joining the crowd to do the wrong thing, and I want to put in some admonishment here. I think that Valentine was somebody that was so caring for the poor. But this day, today, it's meant for lovers. I don't think that's the essence of Valentine. So I'm pleading that on 14th, let us give gifts to people.
Right.
Gaspar. Let us give to people who are really needy. Let us not only give to boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, and what. Not me, I can buy my own food.
Right.
But there are people on the street that need that love that day. They will never forget, like how I've never forgotten of what I received 21 years ago.
Right.
So please, let us rather attend to people who are the street children, the orphanages, the poor. You are living with somebody in the same compound. On Valentine's Day, you pick your car, pick your girlfriend, you go to beach. But the old lady at the other corner has not eaten.
Very important points you're making.
We should think about Valentine. Valentine was not giving gifts to people of equal people. He was giving to people he thinks he was better than, not that he was rich. So
Gaspar, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Gaspar, all the way from Bolga. Do we still also have Caroline from Oyarifa? Is Caroline still on the line? Apparently not. Those of you connecting via Zoom, just add your audio, okay? Ensure that you can actually interact with us, and do unmute when we get to you. George, I see you back. Hello, can you hear me, George? Hello, George. Wow, so this is going to be tricky. Who else do we have apart from George? All right, so let's go over the phone lines and engage Esther from Cape Coast. Esther, thank you for joining the conversation. For you, your best and worst when it comes to Valentine's Day gifts?
I think my best gift was that time I need money, so he gave me money. Yeah.
How long ago was this?
So you said?
How long ago was this?
I think 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was some sizable money, eh?
Yes.
I see. I see. Apart from that, let me just ask you, and so that was your best gift?
Yes, that was my best gift. At the vows, yes, at the vows gift.
But usually, apart from money, what else would you go for when it comes to Valentine's Day gifts? What would you want? What are some of the things you would want?
Oh, yes. I think anything that will make me happy, yeah.
So what would make you happy?
Anything.
Anything. Is there a song that reflects how you feel about Valentine's Day, especially this year?
I have this song, Beyonce featuring Ed Sheeran, This Perfect You.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my best love song so far.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Who knows, we just might wrap up with one of your favorite songs. Let's also do Caroline from Oyarifa, and maybe we can come back to Mr. Safo. Caroline, are you back on the line now?
Yes, I'm back on the line.
Grateful that you actually joined us again. So, for you, what has been your best and maybe your worst Valentine's Day gift?
Well, I like to say good morning to you and then to your viewers. And I don't find myself in any of those categories because I have been single.
Okay.
Yes. Very interesting, huh? So I said to myself, this Valentine, I want to give myself a very beautiful, sweet treat. So I'm still thinking of what to do for myself. Probably buy myself a gift, take me out. I'm still thinking through those. So that is what I intend to do. But I haven't had a word or that because I have been single.
It's interesting because you could give yourself a staycation. You could actually get some good food, good drink, stay at home, enjoy yourself, especially when we're in the midst of COVID-19, movie treat. I mean, there are so many things you could do for yourself.
I do that all the time. Movies, I take myself out on Friday night,
Right.
to the live bands or
Right.
the pool, to the beach. I do that. So I just can't think of, I have no idea of what to do. I want to do something I probably haven't done. I wish I could go vacation or hiking,
Right.
traveling to some other part of the country, but I'm still thinking through. Well, maybe you can suggest something for me, or your psychologist, if I'm not wrong, you could suggest something for me I could do.
Right. So before I get back to Mr. Safo, and Mr. Safo, note that Caroline wants you to suggest something she can do for herself. Michael and Ejiso, I think we'll take him before we do that. Mike, good morning. Hey, so for you, what would be an adequate Valentine's Day gift? What do you look out for?
In fact, Valentine will have been a better day, but how people are abusing it is what I dislike it at all. Because our children, the young girls and the young boys, you see a shortage of condoms and all these things. But Valentine was not meant for that.
Right.
So me, personally, if that day can be scratched, I will be very happy. If you go to the streets, you will see, we in the villages, and you will see many, many, many things. In the dark, some people's building under 8, and so many things. We have AIDS. Now, COVID is on our neck. But people will not observe these protocols. They will forget and then go for the Valentine, and something will happen after that. Many people get AIDS after Valentine. They don't know. Young girls, young boys, around 9, 8, 15, 16, they contract this AIDS during the Valentine Day. So I wish if you, the media, can promote it well, know the meaning, what it meant, so that we can celebrate it well. It will be better.
Okay.
Than love. It's about sex. All that they are promoting is sex. And our children in school, look at me. We have children, grandchildren, and the way they are misusing this Valentine is very bad.
Okay.
So if you, the media, you in particular, can do something for us, we, the parents, will be very, 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 very happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good advice there. And like I was sharing in the course of the news review, this day shouldn't be restricted to romantic love. Your mother qualifies. Your parents qualify. Your bestie at work qualifies. Your children qualify. It's about spreading the love. And there's someone who called in to talk about the fact that, look, the people who are needy in your community, show them love on a day like this. You know, show them some love. It all feeds into Valentine's Day. It's not all about the amorous bits. Let's go to Che Bafo on Zoom. Che, a very good morning to you. Hello, Che. Please unmute. If your Zoom is on mute, please unmute.
Good morning.
Good morning, Che. So I'd like to find out from you, how are you celebrating this Valentine's Day? What's the plan?
At my village. At my village.
Where is your village?
At my village.
Where?
I'm currently at Azantia Chimjaso.
I see.
Actually, I live at Kumasi, but I work at Azantia Chimjaso, so I'm at Azantia Chimjaso currently.
Right. Do you have a partner?
Of course.
Okay. So how exactly are you going to celebrate it come Sunday? What are you going to be doing, especially as we have COVID-19 in our midst?
Yeah, we've already packed our chocolates. We have about 1 box of chocolates. I'm giving one to the...
Did I hear one to the children? Oh, we're just missing out on the sound there, Che.
We go to Presby, so I'm giving a box. I bought a few boxes for the children.
Okay, so at least from what I gather, chocolate is going to be plentiful as far as your celebration is concerned.
A full box of chocolates for the kids to come to their friends.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let me wrap up with Mr. Asafo. There's not enough time to go through all of you, unfortunately. But Mr. Asafo, so Caroline was asking, she's single. What can she do to make Valentine's Day more meaningful for her?
You know, like I explained, showing love, the best way to show love is actually to give love. And I kind of resonate a lot with what that earlier caller said about giving out to those who don't need. In fact, we find several researchers that are saying that the more you do things that are helpful to other people, the more you experience an influx of what we call oxytocin, which is the happy or the love hormone. So doing something for other people is an amazing way to feel loved. In fact, connecting with your friends and family or people who are dear to you online, because COVID is still real. And it's important for us to notice that all these wanting to do things in physical, of course, like the amorous activities, which usually the hallmark of Valentine, are very dangerous things to do in times like this. So Caroline, what you need to do is to connect with the people you care about, those who care about you too, and they'll reciprocate that act, and you will feel the emotion of love.
Finally, Mr. Asafo, I want to find out from you, how are you celebrating Valentine's Day 2021 on Sunday? How are you going to be celebrating?
I tell you, a big bowl of fufu.
Hey!
And then watching football.
Right. So fufu party for you and then watching football.
Oh, this one is fufu party for my wife, myself, and my son.
Okay.
And then we watch football together. Tomorrow, Monday we'll go to work. I wanted to start fasting from Friday, go to church all night on Saturday, Sunday, do all day at church, but
Well, thank you so much, Seth Asafo, clinical psychologist, for joining us. The conversation goes on when it comes to Valentine's Day, but do remember to celebrate it responsibly. Very important. Now, we're supporting the Farmer Initiative, and this group is providing support for local farmers to boost their production. Coming up next, we're talking about the host of that show, the Ghanaian Farmer TV show. That is up next on the AM show. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. We're in that mood, but right now we're talking farming. Enyonam Manye is host of the Ghanaian Farmer TV show. Enyonam, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Lovely smile, even under the mask.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we talk farming, let's just take a minute, maybe.
Right.
You were telling me about your experience on LinkedIn. So what's the question you posed?
So about some few days ago, I was just home cooling off after a stressful day. So I know LinkedIn is for the working class. So I said, let me tease these people a bit. I posted a very beautiful photo of me, and I asked, who will be my Valentine this Sunday? And the view and comment is around 3,000 plus. Right. Everybody comes and write my name, and you'll stop teasing us. I'm the one. Even I got a message from UK from someone asking me, please, I want you to be my virtual Valentine. I'm like, really?
Virtual Valentine?
Yes.
At 7 a.m. And what did you say?
So I said, why not? Why not? I will do that for you. So yes, I have a date with Alex in the UK. We'll do
you have to mention his name.
Of course.
Now, everybody knows about Alex is going to be your virtual
virtual Valentine on Sunday. So I told him, don't worry. I have a donation to do in the morning, after which I'll put you on phone, on Zoom for us to see each other.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, the Ghanaian Farmer TV show, what spurred it? What brought it about?
Right. So the Ghanaian Farmer is an agriculture-focused program that highlights the significant contribution of farmers in the country.
Right.
And of course, we also discuss their plight, what the challenges are, and how the stakeholders, including government, can come on board to help minimize, if not solve everything, minimize these challenges to help that they are able to produce more, just like we're expecting to feed the country, of course.
So you're highlighting farmers, what they do, their contributions, but these are things we already know. I mean, basically, we do know that farmers are there, but it appears we just ignore them. How are you going to highlight it in such a way that people will get to appreciate it?
Right. A little or nothing is said about farmers and their hard work. I was reading this quote from Evan Thomas, who says, farmers learn a lot, but they barely get anything out of their hard work.
Right.
And so as a daughter of a farmer, a petty farmer, if I should say, my dad was a farmer, and I've seen how much work he puts into what he does. But at the end of the day, if I ask him, Daddy, for all these years you farmed, what can you pinpoint at? He has nothing to show.
Wow.
People don't even know about him. So until I go to that farm to put a camera on my father, to let the whole world know what he's planting, so you can have your jollof rice to eat in the house, nobody knows about him.
Right.
And nobody cares to know about his plight as well.
Right.
And there are a lot of people out there who'd want to know how the farmer is faring. What process do they even go through to see that beans ripe for it to be harvested and taken to the market? So we are trying to enlighten the younger ones to also educate the older ones who are already in the farming space about the new technology, the new ways of going about the farming is now business, trust me. It's no more...
I think it's Mo Ibrahim I heard saying farming is sexy.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, just look at me. I'm the finest GH farmer. I'm so fine.
So what exactly do you farm? What exactly do you produce?
Right, so I have a pig farm.
Okay, so you're into animal husbandry.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'm into pig farm, but I go to the entire region interviewing our mothers and fathers, including the younger ones. I met this guy who went to study in the UK, but he's back in the eastern region. He has about 40-acre rubber plantation farm. Back in the days, you won't go to the UK and come back to do farming.
Right.
But Kwame, he has about 40-acre rubber plantation farm, which would take about 7 years for him to start harvesting. It's about 4 years now, so he is waiting for 3 more years to start harvesting.
So the show basically also tells you, if you want to get into it, how you can do it.
This is the process, exactly.
Right. So what exactly have you done on the show so far?
So far, we've interviewed about 20 to 30 farmers already. We started last year, August, so we are in the 4th or 5th month. We've interviewed a couple of farmers. But you see, we don't want to restrict the show to just a TV show. Whilst we are going about interviewing these farmers, we've observed and identified the little needs they want to help them, to motivate them. At the end of the day, they have something they can lay their hands on, or if I need this, I need that, I need farming tools, the basic farming tool, the hoe, the cutlass, the Wellington boot, the wheelbarrow, the spraying machine. They need those basic things. And some of them, trust me, some of them farm all right, they sell, but they can barely get money to buy those petty farming tools. So as a concerned organization, Best Trends Concept, the Ghanaian farmer, in partnership with Joy Prime, we had a sit down. Okay, what can we do to motivate those farmers? So why don't we come together? So from our pocket, we buy this petty farming machines. So after every interview, if you are a garden X farmer, we present to you a cutlass or a hoe or a Wellington boot.
Wow.
Yes, so that can motivate you. The following year when we come, you might expand your farm. You might increase in production, and we will give you more than we have done now.
You know, it's interesting because I was reading way back about the first best farmer in Ghana. You know, and part of his prize, Wellington boots, machetes and stuff, so still relevant even today.
Exactly.
What can people expect on the Ghanaian Farmer, you know, show? When does it air? Where? On which network? You've mentioned Joy Prime.
Right, so the Ghanaian Farmer airs every Monday, 2:30 on Joy Prime, and it repeats on Thursday at 10 p.m. But come Sunday, as part of the initiative, one of your callers says that it's not all about your boyfriend, girlfriend. It's about you giving a bag of rice to some old lady or some man out there to eat and be happy. So come Sunday, we are going all the way to Asaman Kesi, a community called Pebi. To speak to Madam Janet. She's about 74 years old. She's a plantain farmer. And as our way of showing love, we are going to meet Madam Janet to donate to her some chocolates, some food items, and farming tools to motivate Madam Janet. That, you know what? Thank you, Mommy, for giving us plantain to eat every time in our home. And that is what we are doing. So if you are in Ghana or you are outside Ghana and you're watching me right now on TV, if you want to be part of this initiative, if you want to support us, whether you've bought a farming tool, you want us to pick it up, or you want to send some donation for us to buy the farming tool, just hit me up or call me on 0554 830431. 0554 830431. Support somebody. Put a smile on the face of somebody. Sunday is Valentine's Day. It is not just about couples. It's about showing love to someone out there. And you won't eat without your farmers. So remember to show them love. Benjamin.
Well, Enyonam, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I look forward to it. You should look forward to it too. Enyonam Manya is actually host of the Ghanaian Farmer TV show. And this basically is what we can bring you this morning. It's a Friday morning on the AM show. This is where we say, do enjoy your weekend. And of course, have a happy Valentine's Day in advance.